Hey guys.
Hey everyone,
Hello.
welcome to Don't
Sorry about
Worry
the delay.
Wednesday. Huh?
Said sorry about the delay.
Yes, sorry for the delay. I see, Senna, you had a chance to cook your dinner before the stream started.
That's good.
That's what we were waiting for.
Yep, that's exactly what we were waiting for.
Yes. Oh, and now Repicharge has got to go eat dinner, so
Oh,
enjoy your dinner.
well, we would. That's not what we were waiting for. But oh well. Enjoy your dinner, Repicharge.
Yes. Well, again, welcome. It's Don't Worry Wednesday. It's the show where we handle any of the issues you might be having, any challenges you might be going through. Just feel free to post them down in the chat, or you can put them on the website here at bss.studio. Feel free to post them there as well, and we will get to them. We have quite a lineup of topics to talk about tonight on our website.
Yeah.
You guys have been putting stuff in there and getting us going. Haley, it looks like Haley came just to say to please forget your question.
Okay. What if I didn't remember your question to begin with? So I didn't forget anything. And so now when I see it, I don't know that. Wait, so if I forget your question, that means I won't remember your question when I see it again, and I'll think it's the first time I read it. So then I'll still do it.
That's a possibility.
This is complicated.
Yeah. I will say, everyone, hey, if you're on right now and you've been on for this for the whole time while the stream started and it was going with the countdown and everything, might be a good idea to refresh your page. I've noticed sometimes it can lag behind a little bit at some points, so that might be a good idea to do. So just in case, because sometimes I know in my case that happens, and then I'm all behind, and I don't know what's going on. So then my chat's all behind. I'm chatting on things that happened like 5 minutes ago, and
yeah, that happens to me a lot. Hey, Otaku Jack. By the way, Jack is an awesome name. It's one of those names you can put after any word and it sounds great. Like, for example, Suction Cup Jack. Doesn't that just sound great? It's so smooth. No matter what you put in front of like Jack, it just sounds great. But anyways, you asked us, tell me your favorite anime, Ryan and Joe. I can't because I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
I remember them all.
It's tough to say. My favorite right now is Full Metal Alchemist because that's the one that I'm watching right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Sometimes that's just how it is. Like the one I'm most interested in would have to be my favorite, right? That would
right.
And so the one I'm watching right now.
Yep.
Yeah, fair
but
enough.
I think I'm almost done with it. So like the whole series. So then I'm gonna have to pick a different one.
Blobfish Jack.
Brotherhood, yes, Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
Yep, it's on Amazon. I have a Prime account, and it's one of the ones that's included in Prime. So,
aw, thanks, Uriel. Miss you too.
So cool. Yes, but Jack is one of those Blobfish Jack.
Yeah.
You know, and there are other Jack names that already have stuff in front of them: Panama Jack, Union Jack,
Car Jack. Well, then it's just like Jack, which is a type of alcohol.
Yep. Jackman Jack. Oh yeah, we got all kinds of Jacks. Jack Attack.
Rack Attack Jack. I'm waiting to put people's names in front of it. Kendra's Corner Jack. Okay, that maybe doesn't quite.
Princess Jack.
Princess Jack. I guess Prince Jack would be a little bit more appropriate.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome. You guys all look great. Yes, I got to tell you.
I love the way you look tonight.
Yes.
I think.
So if you guys are having a challenge or anything, feel free to post it. We are not professional therapists or counselors or policemen or attorneys or doctors or anything like that. We just are a couple people that have been through some challenges ourselves, and we want to do whatever we can to help anyone else that's going through their challenges. So, because sometimes as you're going through things, you just need somebody to encourage you along the way. And there are times when I've needed a therapist and sought professional help. But while I went through that, it was really great to have people around me that could encourage me. And sometimes that's that little extra thing that that we need in order to move forward. So, Otaku Jack, the topic bar has not always been there at the top. This is a brand new thing. So
brand spanking new, that topic bar over
yes,
over there,
right.
Oh, I don't know which way it is.
I think it's right there.
Flipped, so I think this way.
I think it's right there.
Am I pointing? That's funny.
We both are
pointing.
Right.
I'm pointing at Joe's finger, and Joe's pointing at my finger.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just how the cameras are set up differently than how you see them.
Yes. So that we were just confirmed that we were pointing in the right direction by our illustrious producer, Jesse, who lets everybody give Jesse a hand. He's doing a great job, and he's actually going to be posting these topics. We're going to surprise him with the one we're going to do first, and then he's going to have to quick type it or put it in there somehow or paraphrase it or something. And also, thank you again to Princess. She does such a great job here, getting everything, making sure everything gets onto the website and making everybody feel welcome. Thank you, Princess Yellow, very much for your service as well.
Yeah, so, seriously, thank you. You are loved.
Yes, you guys are incredible. So I think the first in line on the website is one from Kendra. She goes by the handle artist22 on the website. And it's called Sassy Communication. I will post a link to that topic.
Sassy communication. I like that.
And
I like the word sassy. It's one of those words with 3 S's.
It is.
So here's
the more S's you have, the better. That's why we put 2 S's in BSS.
Yep, that's right.
Because without the extra S, it'd just be BS.
Yeah. BSS, no BS. That's how it is.
Yes, I love you, Static P. Uriel says, I love you.
Aw, I love you too. Sure.
We can do that. Jesse's
Yeah, we could do
that. Jesse, just for your information, I just posted in the chat a link to the topic on the website.
Yes. And then I posted one in the Zoom chat for you. Cool.
You need it in the Zoom chat or you need it in the... Okay.
All right. I'll keep
Excellente. See, we're getting all this stuff figured out. We got this new feature, and you guys are being awesomely patient with us while we figure it out.
Yeah, sorry if you guys can't hear our conversation with Jesse. I don't know if you guys can hear Jesse, but we were talking to Jesse.
Yeah, usually when we say if something we say doesn't make any sense, then it's probably because we're talking to Jesse and we can't hear him. So anyway, I will go ahead and read this one by Kendra, also known as Artist22 at bss.studio. So I would encourage you guys to go there. And if you're not registered at bss.studio, please go and register. Join the community because everybody there is so awesome.
It's free and easy.
It's free and it's easy, and there's great folks. You're gonna be around some awesome people. They're really great. So this is by Kendra, and it's called Sassy Communication. And it says, I am currently in an intercultural communication class as to help with me being able to speak out properly in order to be a teacher. I sit by myself in the first row of the classroom, and there are 3 guys that sit behind me. I usually can talk to a guy if there is just one, but there are 3, and I was kind of intimidated, and in this class, we have to have partners for discussion, Because I'm the only one in the first row, I have to talk to these guys. Well, we had to talk about what we consider good things in culture and bad things in culture. The guy that sits in the middle ended up talking about a rapper that I had never heard of and asked if I thought he was bad, and I just gave a confused look. He ended up naming some of the songs, and I ended up making a sassy remark that is not me. I literally replied, I don't listen to crap. I listen to Celtic music. Whoa, that's pretty
That's
sassy.
pretty bold and yeah, Celtic. That's great.
And the guys looked at me surprised and ended up laughing, and I, for some reason, didn't feel bad about it. I'm actually confused on where I got that confidence and sassiness from, because I don't usually talk like that to strangers. I feel a bit more comfortable around them now after that, but I'm still quiet and shy. What should I do to try and get that confidence to speak and discuss things more easily without being so sassy? Kendra. P.S. I have a paper I need to write for this class, and it has to be about a song and how it fits with intercultural communication. Would it be okay if I interviewed you, Ryan? I chose to use one of your songs, and I would like to get more information on it if that is okay with you. So that's a personal question to you, Ryan.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. We'll just have to set that up sometime.
Yes. You obviously can reach Ryan at bss.studio. You can send him a private message. Or you can, I'm sure, also if you're on Discord, a lot of times you can find him there too. So, yeah. Wow, I got to tell you, Kendra, that's quite a response. I don't listen to crap. I listen to Celtic music.
Yeah, well, there is the word rap inside of crap, but that doesn't make rap crap.
Yes.
But yeah, that's
Yes.
great. Good question. How do you get the confidence and but make sure you're not sassy, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You want to start this off, Ryan?
Okay, sure. Why not? So confidence in speaking, honestly, it's a lot about the mental state, you know. Sometimes is my mic a bit crackly?
It is, actually.
Is it? There's really not much I can do about that. Because if I
have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
That will stop Cubase.
We just have to start it again.
So, okay, I'll have to bear with me because now this is gonna screw up your timings.
Oh, you're gonna be fine. I'm really good at editing, so it's gonna be just fine.
Okay. All right.
Don't you worry about it. I would rather edit a timing issue than a crackle issue.
Okay.
If we can.
I'll be right back.
Yes. So in the meantime, yeah, let's sing a song. Snap, crackly pop, rice, static peas.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Yeah, got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Deedly dee. They're all standing in a row. Oh, they can hear you now?
Yeah.
Big ones, small ones, one the size of your head.
Right.
I don't know any of the other words. That's all I know. Oh no, Ryan left.
Yep, now you're half static.
Now I'm a half and half. Ding, ding dong.
Ding dong. Hey, actually, you know what? The bar continued to move, and I just had to press record again, so it all lined up. You don't have to do any audio edits.
Way
am
off.
I crackly still?
No.
Okay, cool. Good. Half and half, ding dong.
Yep.
I was a half and half a ding dong there for a minute.
That was half of
it.
That's a quarter. Half
a half a ding dong.
Half a ding dong.
Half a ding dong.
Awesome. Okay, so that to the question. So how do you get confidence in speaking with people? You know, yeah, it comes a lot from just you know, obviously self-confidence in general. And the best way to achieve that, I think you probably already know this part. You just got to do it. You got to put yourself outside your bubble, start doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do. In this context, go out and talk to those people, and tell yourself, like, hey, look, you got control. You get to decide whether you do this or not. And that's all there is to it. And so then you go forward and then you just start talking to these guys, right? And then you prove yourself that you can do it and it becomes comfortable eventually. Confidence is something that you work up inside. It's not a real physical thing. It's something that you simply decide. Now, it doesn't make it easy. It doesn't mean you're not going to be nervous once you make that decision. But also confidence comes with understanding the field. So, doing research can help you, like, for example, doing research on how to talk to people, research on how to be good at communicating, good at, being a people person and figuring out how to listen to see what kind of personality they are and how to use that to your advantage in the conversation, to make the conversation flow well. You can find that kind of stuff in books, and it's pretty useful. Or you can listen to a number of Don't Worry Wednesdays where we've talked about things like that. But learning how to interact with people and understand and just kind of put your focus on the person and not on yourself changes everything. For most of the time, like if you are worried, that's because you're too worried. If you're worried approaching somebody, it's because you're focusing on yourself. Your focus is like, oh no, what if they think I'm crazy? Or what if I just ruin this or botch it or whatever, you're afraid because you're thinking about yourself, because you can only really be afraid for yourself. You're not going to be like, oh no, poor them, I'm going to talk to them. And then they're going to no one has fear for the other person, right? You have fear for yourself. So if you can take your focus and just put it on them and say, the whole reason I'm going to approach them is to make them have a better day. Then your viewpoint shifts and that fear isn't going to be there because you're not going to be worried about yourself and how you make them feel or how you are viewed in their eyes or that sort of thing. If you just say, hey, I'm going to go up to these people and love them the best I can, give them my best and do my best to, make them have a good day, point out the things that I find in them that are awesome. So one of the things that is a really great people skill, and Joe does this phenomenally. Joe's down there, yes. Joe does this phenomenally. And that is, you look at somebody and you find what's good about them. You find something beautiful or good in them, something that they've probably worked hard at, something that you can see they put time and effort into, whether it's a part of their personality or a part of their visual look or a talent that they have, whatever. And then you compliment them on it, that sort of thing. That's a people pleaser. That's if you can find the good in people and then tell them about it, that just lifts people up so much. And that's just that's a concept for you, right? So now that you know something about people, you probably already knew that, but now that you have knowledge about speaking with people, it's a lot easier to go forward and just apply that. But the one thing you just got to concentrate on is don't worry about how they see you, because you don't get to decide that. All you get to decide is how you act. And if your concentration is all about serving them and giving them something good, then they're probably going to like you. If you're going to make them have a good time, then they're going to like you. You don't have to try to force yourself to be funny, but just be yourself. Because you're enjoyable to be around. Just be enjoyable to be around by being yourself and Yeah. So confidence comes from, again, trying to do something or doing the things that you are incompetent in and learning that you can do them, because then you have confidence. You're like, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's not really a big deal. But also comes from knowledge and the things that you can apply. See, the reason, like, for example, I'm not confident when it comes to working on vehicles, but that's because I don't know anything about working on vehicles. But that doesn't mean I cannot try, right? I am confident that I can try because I can. That's absolutely true. I can't guarantee any success if I work on a vehicle. I can't guarantee that it's going to come out right, but I can guarantee that I can try. And then when I try, I learn stuff. And eventually, I might get so good that I am confident in whatever I'm doing while working on a car. And it's the same thing with anything. So when it comes to communication, you just got to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it might be uncomfortable at first, but you got to try, right? How do you not be sassy though? I don't know. Sometimes we all do weird things. So like, whoa, where did that come from, right? And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. How do you counter that? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it just comes out and you be like, whoa, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. I can't believe I just said that. Sometimes that's the only thing you can do is a defense. But how do you prevent yourself from making a habit of being sassy? Because that is something you can easily fall into. When you initiate a relationship with somebody, how you initiate it will usually carry through the relationship. What I mean is, if I meet somebody and I'm being all like, if I have the personality of someone who's really excitable and I'm just like, yeah, this is awesome, blah, 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 like just kind of maybe joking around or whatever. Whenever I'm around that person from then on, my subconscious mind is going to flip that personality switch and engage that personality mode. Right. And so whenever I encounter them, that's going to be my personality. And so if you start off a relationship and you're really sassy, you might have a personality switch that comes on when you talk to them, and it might be sassy. So you got to try to make sure you don't encourage yourself down that line, right? So you just gotta do your best to kind of bite your tongue, as they say. Just if you think of something sassy, and you realize it's gonna be sassy before you say it, just ask yourself, like, is there another way to say this? you know. Another thing though is pay attention to what you're listening to. Here's the thing, like, I've said some really weird stuff and I'm like, where the heck did that come from? That was terrible. Like, and then I think about it, like later I realize, oh, wait a minute. I watched like an hour's worth of some kind of cooking show, and they were being all aggressive on that show and talking about, and the way that they have that attitude, and then that attitude flowed into, that's not the right word, flew into it. Anyways, that attitude kind of transferred in my brain and kind of programmed my brain to have that attitude when I approached another thing. So pay attention to what you're listening to, what you're programming yourself with. Because if you're watching television or movies or anime or whatever, and they have a certain way of speaking, that way of speaking might come out. If they have a certain attitude or a certain way of getting the job done, right? They operate a certain way. That is going to turn into a subconscious habit, because now they've given you an idea and they've repeated it over and over, within the show, or even if just like music. If you listen to a song over and over again, or certain types of songs, over and over, then that will transfer when you go to speak to somebody, because that's going to be rolling around in the back of your head as an idea, as a concept, as a way of communicating yourself, or a way of taking action. I mean, there's a lot of examples of stuff like this out in the world, but you can find them yourself. You can create these yourself. You'll know. But there are many things in the world that are pop culture that are like in the norm now that didn't used to be. And the only difference is that now people talk about it more, right? Like it's pretty normal for people to talk about suicide. That's not really good because so many people talk about suicide, now suicide is an option for a lot of people, where in the past it wouldn't have really been thought of. People don't necessarily turn to that as their go-to, but now because it's talked about a lot, that's one of the concepts that's brought up in people's mind. Like, wait a minute, I'm having a hard time. Life is pretty terrible. And then all of a sudden, because someone else talked about suicide, they're like, oh, that's right, suicide is a thing, and then that gets rolling around in their head. So you do have to be careful about what you program yourself with, what you allow yourself to listen to or watch, or who you're around. If the people you're kind of being around are sassy, then that's probably where you're getting it from. So you have to kind of safeguard yourself there. You have to maintain your brain and make sure that it's healthy, make sure it's in good environments and stuff. But yeah, I know it was a lot. I tried to touch on as much of that as possible. So I'm sure Joe will have something to say, and let's listen to
Oh, I'm sure Joe will have something to say. All right.
I'm sure he has a lot to say.
I don't know
It's all
how
good.
good it's gonna be,
It's
but
gonna be
we're gonna
great.
find something.
It's probably the best thing you've ever heard, because his voice is the best thing you've ever heard.
Well, I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
wow, no, go back and re-listen to that again when you get a chance, because there was a lot there that Ryan went through, and all of it was golden. So you'll be able to learn a lot from what Ryan says. And thank you again, Kendra, for the topic, so we could talk about it. I think this is something that hits a lot of people. I know this is something that I dealt with a lot when I was growing up, and when I was in high school, and then on into college and everything. For a while, I was belligerently loud and obnoxious, but that
Nice.
was just to kind of mask. That was to mask my lack of confidence, because I was so unconfident, but I was stuck in this situation with all these people. I was going to do everything I could to get the first whack in, and then maybe they wouldn't say anything back to me. So it was something that would be hurtful. But then I went into the shy and quiet, and that was kind of my normal mode. And that's and I think a lot of people are like that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you lack confidence when you're quiet. People don't look at you as unconfident when you're quiet just because you're quiet.
That's true.
Most of the time, I mean, think of how you look at other people. Most of the time when we look at other people, we think, oh man, they've got it all together. They're just kind of weird, maybe.
They're weird, but at least they got it together.
So sometimes we think maybe people don't have it all together, and sometimes we judge other people. But as far as having confidence, like Ryan was saying, it's kind of a feeling. It's something that you can develop. It's not something that we're born with. It's not something that, we just kind of naturally have, but it's something that we can develop. Now, some people may have a little bit more of a tendency toward that than others. And, but one of the most important things that Ryan was talking about was if you go up and you're concerned about what other people are thinking of you, it's because you're thinking too much about yourself. So the key then, and this is how, I appreciate Ryan saying I'm good at finding the good in other people. That was something that I worked on for a long time to try and get good at. And it took me a lot of, trial and error, and just a lot of different books and listening to audios that were uplifting to kind of put my mind in the right place. Like Ryan was saying, we're very influenced by the programming that we take in, whether it's audio or video or any type of media that we take in. All of that has an influence on us, whether we like it or not. You know, for a while I was listening to this podcast where everybody was talking like Northeast people, gangsters and stuff. And so I started to talk like that, you know.
Noise.
Just because of that podcast that I was listening to. But and then I'll go hang out or I'll talk to my brother, and he lives up in the UP, and so I'll start talking like a Uper, eh? You know, you just start to adopt these different things just from your programming. So, but Jeff made a book reference. He made a book recommendation, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. That is such a great book. And one of the things I found this quote that's in that book that is so fitting to this situation. And the quote is, "Conversation does flourish and society is refreshing whenever people take the brakes off their hearts and let their tongues wag as automatically and irresponsibly as they will." So what you did there was great in that situation. Even though you're a little bit sassy, that's okay. Because you took the brakes off and you just let yourself say something. You let yourself say what was going through your mind. And they liked it because they laughed about it, you know. So apparently it was funny to them, and they got a kick out of it. So it was appropriate and good. Sometimes a little sassiness is okay. It's not a problem to be super sassy. Now, you got to be careful when you start getting into sarcasm, because sometimes, I mean, sarcasm a lot of times can hurt somebody if you're not careful. Like, you really have to insert your sarcasm surgically, if you will. Like, you have to be really, really careful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, but to just be a little bit sassy, I mean, that's fun. A lot of people will hear that and they'll think that's fun, especially your response. "I don't listen to crap. I listen to Celtic music." That's
Yeah.
so great.
It is pretty funny.
That is awesome. And so, but what you did was you let yourself just say whatever you were thinking, and it was and that created a foundation of friendship. And like you said, after that, let's see, the guys looked at me surprised, ended up laughing, and for some reason I didn't feel bad about it. Confused where I got that confidence and sassiness from. I feel a bit more comfortable around them now. That's key. You feel a bit more comfortable. You took a barrier down off of your heart, and you let yourself interact. You know, even though it was a little bit sassy, it still just let them let your guard down a little bit. So of course you're going to be a little bit more comfortable around them after that. And that's so great. And I'm super proud of you for doing that, especially if you're a shy and quiet person in general, because that's how you get good at this. But if you can relax some and let yourself say things, and you can treat it kind of like an experiment, where you're kind of looking to see people's responses. You might just let loose and say something and see how they respond. And that then takes your eyes even further off of yourself, because you're looking to their response. You're saying things not necessarily because you're trying to think of the most appropriate thing to say. You're trying to see how they are going to respond. My wife has done this to me before, where she'll say things and she just likes to hear my responses. Sometimes she'll be like, "I'm just trying to get a rise out of you because it's fun."
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. I like that too. I'll be honest, I really do like doing that.
Getting a rise out of me?
No, getting a rise out of people. Just like say something that makes like either it just confuses people, or it has no place, or it's like, what? Yeah. I love doing that.
Well, Kendra, you say, "I think that might be my problem. I need to be a little bit more loose and not so uptight." That's so true for all of us, I think. All of us hold tight to our feelings too much, and sometimes we just need to let them loose a little bit and relax. and just let ourselves be ourselves. A lot of times there are past hurts that influence that. We put up barriers so we don't get hurt, and that turns us inward onto ourselves, and it becomes a prison. Because we entrap ourselves that way. But if you can start letting go of those layers and just opening up and letting loose, and forgiveness plays a key role in that, like we always have talked about. If there are past hurts that you're holding on to that have shaped your personality, if you can forgive people for those past hurts, that can open those doors and let you live a more full life as yourself. And you won't be worried about what the world thinks of you, because you're you, and you're beautiful, and you were created uniquely you. And there's nobody else like you, and the world needs what you have to bring to the table. That point was so hard for me to grasp, because I always wanted to be like somebody else. I always wanted to be, if I wanted to be a musician, I would find musicians I wanted to be like, and be like, I got to be like them. And if I'm not emulating them perfectly, then I'm just not hitting the mark. But it actually came from an audio course that I was taking, where they were talking about production. And I thought of music production as a complete science, like formulas and rules, and do this and do this and do this and do this. And when you do it all properly, what you're going to come out with is an awesome sounding song. And this audio production course taught me that as a producer, you bring you into this equation. And it's a signature that you bring to this equation. There's no other producer like you. And what you bring to that equation, you might do things totally, completely different than the other guy down the street or whoever that you're listening to right now. But your particular just color that you put on this is uniquely you, and people are going to love it. There's going to be people that love it. There's going to be people that don't like it, and you can't decide for them. The best thing you can do is be you with some passion. Just throw yourself out there and be yourself. And I tell you, it's so much fun when you can be yourself, completely yourself, and let your guard down and let loose and just hang with people. Because the people that are going to like you are going to like you. They're going to love you as you. The people that aren't, well, hey, whatever. They can just not like you. That's okay. There's people that don't like me. There's a lot of people that don't like me. I promise.
I don't know him.
Hey,
you don't know him either.
I don't really
don't know you.
Thanks, Ryan. That's so nice. But here's the point: when you're going to let your tongue wag, as Les Giblin says, and just start speaking all that kind of stuff, this is where the programming that Ryan was talking about becomes so important. Because what you want to bring to the world, you want to bring something good to the world. Through you just letting loose and saying whatever you're going to say, you want it to be good and uplifting and empowering. So the things you program yourself with, whether it's audio or video or watching anime or movies or anything like that, really be mindful of the messages that are coming into your head. Be mindful of how you feel as you're listening or as you're watching. Because if it's uplifting to you, then you're on the right track. Because then the things you say and do are going to be uplifting to the people around you. So I think I've probably exhausted this a lot.
Yeah.
So
Kendra says, I just remembered why I don't speak out or have confidence. My classmates from high school laughed at me for an idea, and laughed at me for an idea I had, and I think it damaged my self-confidence. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times when we are lacking an area, just as Joe said, it's that we've been hurt. And then we don't want to get hurt again because we don't like the feeling of pain, which is dumb. But no, it makes sense. We don't want to get hurt again. And so then what we do is we put up walls, but those walls then become, we become really self-conscious. We constantly look at ourselves to try to safeguard ourselves against getting hurt. And that prevents us from doing the things that we need to do. So yeah, it would be good to maybe go back and forgive those people if you haven't already. Just kind of think back to that day. Imagine that day again, whatever it was that they said. If you don't remember what they said, that's okay. But yeah, try to go back to that day, think about it, and then just forgive them. You know, say, you know what? I forgive you, you know, that, you know, we all do stupid stuff and maybe it was funny, you know, whatever. But it's good to forgive, because once you've done that, then what you accomplish is now you break down some of those walls and you can stop focusing and worrying about yourself and how having confidence might hurt you, or saying things out loud might hurt you. Because here's the thing, you're going to get hurt whether you worried about getting hurt or not. That's the truth of the matter. The struggle is going to be there whether you're worried about the struggle or not. Pain is going to be there. Everything that's going to happen in life is going to happen regardless of whether you're worried about it or not. The only difference is, one way you close yourself in and you stress out and you don't get anything done, and you don't even like make good plans to figure out how do you get through it if it does happen. If something bad does happen, if something bad does happen, you know, how do I get through this? What do I do to, you know, make sure that doesn't happen or it doesn't affect me? All that kind of stuff. That doesn't actually get solved when you're worried about yourself. The way it gets solved is when you actually just go into plan mode, which, you know, is more proactive. It's breaking down those walls. And yeah, so.
Yep. And here's
not to worry.
Yes, and going along with that, like Ryan was saying, that's so important. We are all going to get hurt from time to time. The real question is, are you going to spend that instant in pain, or are you going to torment yourself for days and weeks beforehand worrying about that pain coming?
Yeah.
You know?
Or allowing it to make you worry for years and years to come and change how you feel about yourself for years and years to come. It's better to just get over it.
Absolutely. And so the amount of pain you feel and for how long is directly related to the level of forgiveness you can have in your heart. Because if you can forgive quickly and move past things, then you won't have to torment yourself with that pain for quite as long. That forgiveness heals your wound, and not just the wound of the relationship, but your internal wound as well. So yeah, so as you go through and as you do these things and grow in your confidence and have these experiments, keep coming back. We love to hear the stories. This was a great story about this. And like Joseph Bohan said, I don't listen to crap, I listen to Celtic music. That is epic.
Epic.
That is an Celtic epic response.
Cherry P, that account is an anonymous account. Does anybody recognize it? And I don't think anybody knows who you are.
I know you.
Oh, I mean, is the account supposed to be anonymous? Because the name is somewhat familiar, but
I mean, I don't know who you are, like as in your real name or your unless your real name is Cherry P, which I guess
that would be interesting if your parents named you Cherry P.
Yeah.
Quite the name.
I mean, it'd be like they must be your parents because they named you Static P.
Yeah, we share parents. We both have the last name P. That's great. That's solid logic right there.
Solid. I just did you a solid. Oh,
nice. You did.
So anyway, thank you, Kendra, for that topic. That was great, and hopefully that was helpful for you. but yeah, grab the book, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. If you're a reader, that
Yeah.
book made such a huge difference to me, and how I thought of people and all that. So yes. So as we go up the list here, we've got one from Repicharge, but Repicharge has left, I believe.
Yeah, Repicharge went for food. So
All right.
looks like we've got Haley, Friends and Drama.
We've got Amira. I think Amira's here.
Amira.
Amira. Oh, Repicharge is here.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Repicharge, you are here. So we're gonna go through your question, and do we need to post this for Jesse?
Yeah.
Probably, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at that, Jesse. How about that?
How about
that? I'm
this
gonna
one?
post it here too. I'm gonna post it all over the place. I can just post it where
I'm gonna make a post inside the topic itself, and it's just gonna be that link.
I'm gonna even post it on Facebook. I hardly even
There we
ever
go.
use Facebook, and I'm gonna put it there.
I don't know if
Put it
Repicharge
there.
wants you posting this on Facebook. I mean, this is concern. So
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Well, so I won't put it there, but I'll put it on here and I'll put it on there and I'll read it out loud. How's that for amazing? Perfect. All right. Repicharge is talking about chess help. And Repicharge says, this is a minor thing. And I would want this question thing to be taken last if possible, but you're second actually.
bummer.
I can't play chess more than like once an hour after I lose because I always lose by making a blunder. And I just know that in all around playing, I'm better, but I screw up and lose the game because I missed something. And this really makes me angry. So I can't play. Aha.
Fair enough.
So Repicharge, I understand the feeling of frustration and making stupid mistakes in a game or in whatever it is that I'm doing, and that frustration leading to some anger and just wanting to stay away. So I totally feel your pain, and I'm gonna let Ryan talk about my feelings on this.
Joe, you have feelings, and your feelings are lovely. No, okay, so yeah, like I get it. I'm the opposite. If I do something and I lose, my go-to is like, I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna get it this time. All right. Like I'm gonna keep on trying until I get it. So I kind of have the opposite, like but I understand. I understand either way. You know, when you lose, when it doesn't turn out how you want, it can be frustrating. There's a couple of games you can play in your head though. Okay. It's all about your attitude, right? But you can do something that changes the way the game is felt. And that is, you kind of want to take it a little less seriously. Because here's the thing. If you lose a game of chess, you didn't lose your arm, you didn't lose your leg, you lost a game of chess, and that's in the past already. It no longer exists. Right? That game is over, and it doesn't really matter. Now, you know what you can do is you can learn from the mistakes you made, right? You can go, oh man, I can't believe I messed up there. Okay, well now I hopefully won't mess up that same spot next time it happens, right? Now I've been through it. Now I know I can make the right decision next time that scenario happens. So when you take a loss, remember that a loss isn't bad. Failure isn't bad. It can help you to learn. I mean, anyone that's successful at anything can tell you pretty much they failed their way to success. And sometimes we make a lot of stupid mistakes that we know better. We know better. We know not to make that mistake, and yet we make it anyways, right? That's just part of going through it. So one thing to remember is it's just a game. And I know you've probably already told yourself that, but just remind yourself it's just a game. it's not really hindering you. It's not hurting you physically. It's you know, and it's already in the past. It's not an animate object. It's not even an inanimate object. It's a non-existent thing. It's an event. And that doesn't happen. The event isn't continuous. It's not affecting you anymore since now that the game is over. So it's important to remind yourself of that. That it's not a big deal. It's important to talk to yourself when you go through these. When you have this anger, it's important to talk to yourself and remind yourself, like, hey, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. You know, doesn't really matter. And let's just go play another game. Now, of course, does that make the anger go away immediately? No, but it starts to work you towards that. So it's important to keep the communication line with yourself open and positive. But the other thing is, when you feel that anger, that's because you are putting a lot of weight on winning and losing. And sometimes it's better to lose. Like, let me tell you something. A game I played with myself, and now I love to play it. And that is lose and enjoy it. It's okay to be in an argument and realize you're wrong. And then just admit it and be like, oh, yeah, no, my bad. I was wrong. You were right. Sorry, my bad. Yep. Then it's over. Guess what? You just got to make that person feel like $1 million because they won the argument. And guess what? Now you're also over it because you just admitted that you were wrong. And now you don't have to sit there and be like in the argument for like an hour now, like, you know, just continuing to draw it out because you want to win, you know, and you don't have that. You don't have, like, if you ever walk away from an argument and you're not sure who's right, you know, but it was annoying. You walk away and you feel upset and you're just like, man, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's so stupid. This argument makes me feel like crap, you know. It does. But if you can just let the other person win, it's just so much easier. And it's not wrong. It's not a wrong thing to do. You know, unless they are wrong in the scenario, then obviously you have to have, you want things to be right, but still. If someone's playing a game of chess, if you're playing a game of chess, right, and you lose, guess what? You just made that other person feel like $1 million because they just got a victory. So celebrate that. Enjoy that. Celebrate their victory. Enjoy their success. Because here's the thing. Like, you have like the music industry, right? You have the music industry and I'm in it. You have all of these companies spending millions of dollars to make sure people don't use their music and sell it or get their music for free and all of this, right? And they're spending millions of dollars on that. And they're frustrating themselves. And guess what they're also doing? They're making it so less people hear their music. Whereas the alternative is just say, hey, yeah, you can use my music. That's no big deal, right? As simple as that. Bam, it's free. It's out the window. I'm no longer worried about it. I'm not spending any money. But guess what? I get free advertisement because I just told somebody they can use my music. Now, if someone checks that whatever they're doing out and they hear my song, they're like, hey, I like this song. Who did it? Bam, free avenue, free revenue. I didn't do anything for it. They did all the work. Isn't that cool? But here's another thing. If someone makes something successful off of my song, like let's say they make a video, like this happened. Emi Richu, she does animatics, which is basically animations, but they're just drawn out and they're like kind of like generally not colored and that sort of thing, not smooth and flowing, but they're just pictures and they're called animatics, right? Emi Richu is a YouTuber who is actually more successful than me. And she got a lot of her success because she did an animatic from It's Not Like I Like You. A lot of you have probably seen it. So,
I haven't seen it.
oh, okay. Did you use JPZ? Did you see his?
No.
Okay,
But
so
I've seen it. I
okay.
was talking about the original. It's not like I like you.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. No, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the original. I'm talking about the fan work stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've seen the fan work.
Yeah, I saw all the fan works. I just don't.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen the original.
So here's the thing: when someone succeeds, if someone makes money off of my music, right? Am I supposed to get all upset and be like, "That's supposed to be my money"? No, because it doesn't hurt me for them to get more money. The only thing is, I'm being selfish if I'm asking for money. Like, hey, that's my song. You owe me this amount of money. All I'm thinking about there is myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's the end. That's the bottom line. That is me being selfish. And that's why I get all worked up over it. But instead, if I'm just like, go you, that's so awesome that I could be a part of your success. And now you're making money off of YouTube, and that's amazing. That is so cool. That's a completely different attitude. Because now I'm caring about them. And I'm doing just fine regardless. And it's the same thing if you lose a battle at chess. Because here's the thing. You might lose, but they get the victory, right? It doesn't actually take anything away from you. But it does it can add a sensation of joy to them. It can add a sensation of anger to you, but that's if your mindset is focused on yourself and focused on winning. But if you can take your mind off yourself for a moment and just celebrate their victory and be like, yeah, you're doing a good job. You did a great job at this game. Nice job. And you can say that sincerely, the anger won't be there, But, one last thing on the subject before I turn it over to Joe is if you can change the way the game is, sometimes I don't know if you can do this for chess, but I know you could do this for a lot of board games, and now you can do this for a lot of video games. You can make a game within the game itself, right? My only goal is to try to do this weird thing. Like, it's not even supposed to be a thing you're supposed to do in the game. You could play a board game, and like, this is an example from Princess. You team up with your sister or whatever to make sure your dad wins. Doesn't that mean you lose? Yeah. But now victory isn't like whether you win or lose. Victory is whether you get this other person to win, right? It's kind of like throwing the game, but it makes you happy. Isn't that weird? Because now all you want is for this weird objective that's not even a part of the game, but because you've changed the way the game is, you're having fun. Like if you're playing chess and you're like, my only thing I want to do during this game, like I don't care if I win or lose, the only thing I want to do in this game is get all my pawns to proceed 3 blocks forward at some point. And I'll figure out how to do it without even being taken. That's my only goal. And then if you go and you play the game and you lose, you don't care. Because that wasn't the point. You were just trying to have fun. You were just trying to have fun getting all of your pawns to move 3 spaces forward, right? And even if you don't even succeed in that, even if you don't get all your pawns forward, your mind is like, let's try it again. That didn't work that time, but maybe I'll try a different strategy and I'll get them all forward this time. Your mind is really susceptible to how you think about the game and what you're concentrating on. And if you change the way the game is, if you change your objective, then losing is okay. It's not like, yeah, I expected to lose. Of course I'm going to lose. That's a dumb strategy. But I had fun. And that's awesome. I used to play a game. It's called Brawlhalla. I would go into ranked matches and I would sit there and pretend I was AFK and count and look at the timer and see and grade people on how long they left me alone before they decided to kill me. And I would score people and I'd be like, yeah, that's right. I'm in ranked matches. My rank is going down and down and down and down. They kill me twice. All right, fine, I'll play. Right. So they kill me twice. I'd lose 3 times and I'm out. So they kill me twice. I'm like, okay, now I'm in it. I don't expect to win. If I win, I'm like, I can't believe I won that, right? But I expect to lose. But I'm having a hilarious time watching people stand there and wait for me, or just like go straight out of the battlefield attacking me and attacking like an opponent who's not even moving. And it's like, what is this? It's so easy. And it's funny because at the end, people like will comment. They're like, easy, noob, you're so terrible at the game. Learn to play. And I'm like, seriously? Like, really? Did you see how I just stood there? Yeah, that was my best effort. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that was the new game. That was how I was deciding to play that game. And I had fun. Whenever you get worked up in a game, change the objective. Make it fun again. And once it's fun again, now you can go back to playing it regularly. Because then you don't care so much. You're not so wrapped up in losing and winning. It can be about the game and having fun again. So, yeah. Anyways, that's what I got.
That's awesome.
That was a lot, but yeah.
That was, yeah. No, that was great. I've never thought about, changing the objective like that. That's a great idea. It's fun. I do enjoy, especially partly because now that I have kids, we'll be playing games and I like it when my kids win because I like to see them, light up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to let them win because then they start thinking they're just always going to win. And, then they don't get taught. Then they learn how to be, have a hard time with losing. And you don't have to like losing. You don't have to enjoy it. And sometimes that can be beneficial, especially in areas like if you're building a business or if you're, trying to achieve some kind of goal that's, important for something in your life. It can be helpful to have that little bit of edge, where, okay, I've lost over and over and over again. I really, really want to win. That can be some beneficial fuel in the fire to get you moving forward. Now, when it comes to games like with chess and everything, I think if you're not like getting all upset and throwing the chessboard and, just at the end of the game, then I think you're doing just fine. Because people who are really sore losers that do that kind of stuff, I mean, that just doesn't,
literally
not any fun. But it tells me what you're telling me is you understand why you lost these games. It says because you lose by making a blunder. You know that all around you're playing better, but screw up and lose the game. You miss something, stuff like that. You recognize where you made your mistake. That's all part of learning. Awesome. Yeah, that's huge. That's hugely important. And it really, it reminds me of the thing that I had to program my kids with, whereas, they just know that I'm good at messing things up. I'm good at making mistakes. That's what I'm really good at, and then nobody's ever surprised when I make a mistake because that's what I'm the best at. And I'm not surprised when I make a mistake either. And this was born out of being like that in everything, just being such a perfectionist with everything. And I had to learn how to stop being a perfectionist at everything because I knew I was never going to be perfect at anything.
Fair.
Perfection is not it. I don't know if perfection is necessarily attainable in all things. I think there's always room for improvement. And the crazy thing, Ryan can attest to this because he has worked for years on developing his musical skill. The better you get at something, the more you realize there's a lot more to learn.
Mm-hmm. And there's, for most things, like especially music, there is no perfection.
Mm-hmm.
There's just improvement.
Yep. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with chess, because you're dealing with a game of strategy. You're dealing with a game where, you're interacting with the person across from you and you're strategizing, and you got to be thinking like so many moves ahead of the move that you're actually on. You've got everything planned out, and then you're adapting to how they're going, but you're also planning like 6, 7 moves ahead, maybe even more. And when you get to that level, you still realize there's a lot more improvement that can be made. So what you're doing here is great, because you are improving. You're taking a look at where you're making your mistakes, and you're getting better at those. And I think that pattern that you're involved in, even though it can be frustrating, is hugely important. And if you can do that with other things in your life, where you can look at an issue, you can analyze where you made your mistake, and then make an adjustment the next time you try, you're going to be absolutely unstoppable in anything you decide to do, if you take that mentality into it. And I think that's awesome that you're doing that, Repicharge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 3 moves ahead. Okay.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't played a whole lot of chess. There was one time when a friend of mine and I were playing chess. We went through a phase of playing lots and lots of chess. We went to this restaurant. It was a all night truck stop place, 24 hours, open 24 hours a day. And we got there. I think we got there at like 9:00 at night or something like that. And it was me and him and a chessboard, and we bought coffees, and we had a couple meals there while we were there. And we just sat and played chess. We played chess until we got there at 9:00 at night, and we just played game after game after game after game. And we were there when the teachers, we had already graduated from high school, but our former teachers came in for breakfast before school. And they saw us in there, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are starting the day with some chess, huh? That's a really smart thing to do." And we're like,
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been here all night playing game after game. And it was so great. It was a great experience that both of us had. I don't remember how many games I won. I don't remember how many games he won. But because we were going to play so many games, and we knew we just kept playing, we were like, well, we're just going to keep going. It didn't matter who won or lost, because if I won, he would congratulate me, and he would say, well, I'm going to get you on the next one. And if he won, I would congratulate him, and I say, I'm going to get you the next time. Oh, I see what you did there. You were tricky. I'm not going to fall for that again. And it turned into this big, it was an awesome relationship building experience that we had. That's going really back cool. And forth. So it was really, really fun. And like Ryan was saying, it's a game. It's meant to be fun, but there is an objective. And part of that objective is learning how to, especially with chess, because there's so many nuances to chess. It's not like, it's there are some games that are really simple and straightforward and kind of luck of the draw kind of games. But chess is a game of strategy, and you can really do a lot and analyze and stuff, and it's really cool. But no, Repicharge, I'm super proud of you. And I think if you take the things that Ryan talked about with, kind of creating a game within the game, change the objective a little bit. If it's starting to get too frustrating for you, then just change the objective, and that'll lighten your heart enough.
Yeah.
To go through, and then it won't matter to you if you lose or not.
Yeah, it really does work, because like I even like with, for example, that same game that I was playing before, it was Brawlhalla or whatever. Someone came to me and they're like, hey, like how do you stay so calm during ranked games? And I'm like, oh, go into it, throw a few matches, and then start playing seriously, because then you're no longer afraid to lose. You've already put yourself in the right mindset. You've already, just be silly for the first couple of games, and now you can play the rest of the night, actually enjoying yourself. And if you start to get frustrated again, throw a few matches. because it's not worth the stress. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It really does work.
Yep.
But yeah.
And this type of thing also works in the world of marketing that I just learned. I just took a course on marketing, and one of the things they were talking about is like, hey, nobody knows for sure what's going to work best for you and your client base, your customers, your whoever that you're marketing to. No one knows what's going to work the best for you until you just start trying. You're going to lose sometimes. And it's okay. Just start throwing stuff up there and seeing if stuff works. And then take that and then look at that, analyze the results, and then throw another one up there and then see how that works. And then, analyze what you need to analyze and then throw another one up there. And then just keep going until you start finding some things that stick. And that, it's so true in so many areas of your life. And if you can get comfortable with the fact that you're not always going to win, and then take the edge off of the loss, like Ryan was just saying, throw a couple matches so you're not afraid to lose anymore. You've already got the experience there. Then it makes a victory so much sweeter, because you're used to losing. You're okay with losing. It's like, hey, we're just going to try again. And then you win. You're like, oh, man, did you see that? I just won, man. That was awesome. And then the next match you lose again, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully that was helpful for you, Repicharge. I sure had a good time talking about it.
Yeah, chess is a good game. I am not very good at it, but it is a good game.
Haley
applies it to
school. Fail a few classes, then you won't be afraid to fail.
I mean, it's true. It actually is true. You fail a few classes, you can get in there and you won't worry about failing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to make you successful.
Right.
It's slightly different. We're talking about a shift in attitude. If your attitude's already on point, if you're getting the work done, whatever. But
right. And if
school is not a practical system because it doesn't work like the real world.
Right. Yes, that's super true. And if you're anything like me, and like 99.9% of the people that I know, they could not wait to be done with school. So the more times you fail, the longer it might take you in school. You might have to stick around a little longer. And so, yeah. But failing isn't the end of the world ever.
Ever. That's right.
Just because you fail, that's okay. You can get back up. You can try again.
Unless you literally fail to survive, and that is the end of life. But then it's like, whatever, no big deal. So it's like no big deal, whatever. It's like no big deal no matter what it is.
In the real world, I would be fired. Why can't I be fired from school? I know.
Right?
Because people pay money for you to go to it.
That's true. And when they don't even want to, they're forced to. Try to figure that one out. Thanks, society. Thanks, taxes and everything.
Right.
That is a system. Let me tell you, that is a broken system right there. I mean, it works. It's not good, but it works.
There's a few glaring things that are trouble in that.
Yeah. There's
for sure.
There are definitely political agendas going on there. Anyways, next topic.
Yeah. Next is Amira. Amira is the next one in line, and I see Amira is here because she has the latest post.
That's right.
Yes. So Amira is talking about love trouble, and don't forget to post this here.
I love trouble.
That's the wrong one.
Oh, it's not that kind of love trouble. I get it.
Wrong one. It's love trouble. There we go. That's for Jesse. I am very much here. Yes, you are here, Amira. And here is a link to Amira's topic. also, if you guys want to read along.
Yeah. How's the topic thing going? Is everyone digging that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because we can't see the screen right now, so we don't know if it's working out good or not. I mean, I imagine it would. We wanted to. Well, the whole point of putting that up in the corner there was for people when they come in to be able to see what the topic is that we're talking about. Because sometimes people might come in the middle of a question or in the middle of somebody saying something, and they may not know what it is that we're addressing at this point in time. So we wanted to do that. Oh, Jesse's having slight issues with the program, but figure that out later.
Oh, okay.
So cool. Well, hey, if there wasn't issues with the program, then Jesse'd be out of a job.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll give you the contact information for our IT guy. You can send him an email. Joe likes to do that a lot.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter if you have a technical problem. He's just IT, but you can send him whatever problem you want.
Right. If you go to bss.studio, there's a tab that says support.
Support. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just click that and then
just click support and submit a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody will get back with you within a week.
Within a certain time period.
A certain unbeknownst to you time period.
Yes.
Nice. So, all right. Well, so Amira posts on here about love trouble. And
you want me to read it? You can go first this time.
Okay, that's fine.
Cool. This is what Amir says. Basically, my feeling for my friend grew over time, and I'm not handling it very well internally. She has a good crush friend, and she did something or said something that caused her pain. And they had trouble since then because she didn't notice it. And that seems to be from how her friend is acting from the joke that she did. And she has trouble talking about her feelings with her friend. We talked about it and she forgave me, but it goes deeper than that. Basically, I still feel bad about the situation and my feelings for her keep growing. And it's driving me crazy. I constantly fear the thought of her leaving me. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I feel like, was this similar to another one that we handled recently?
Yeah, it was similar to the last one that we did with Amir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just didn't want to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. So let's see. All right. So
that was a transcription. Oh well. Oh, is this something that we did before? Or, hold on, because that was transcribed.
It might have been. Because it really feels. I remember talking about something similar to this.
Yeah, Amira, we definitely did.
Does this sound like one that we handled for you already, Amira?
Yeah. Is this one that you were already clear on, or? Oh, okay. This is the one that we did before. It's just transcribed so that it's written in a different way, but it's the same thing. Gotcha. Okay. So then we don't need to do it.
Well, but Amira
unless Amira wants us to do it again, unless she wants a little bit more pep talk.
She does say on here lately, it feels like she's not even there when we're in the same room. Yeah,
I'm still having problems. Okay,
still having some issues there. So so we can definitely talk about this some. And feel free to post in the chat there, Amira, as we're going along, so you can kind of explain how this is developing.
Yeah, please.
But that would be great. So the thing that really jumps out to me on this, obviously we all make mistakes. We were just talking about that in the last topic. So first, Amira, thank you for posting. Thanks for being here and asking. these questions. But yeah, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Every single one of us is going to do that from time to time. And one of the beautiful things about being in a relationship is the grace to allow people to be themselves, and still love them regardless. Amira says, if anyone read what I said on Discord, feel free to fill them in. So apparently there was something on Discord as well. Okay. So, but the thing that I really want to address in here is in the last line, you say, basically, I still feel bad about the situation and my feelings for her keep growing. It's driving me crazy. I constantly fear the thought of her leaving me. That's the one I want to address, is the fear of another person leaving you. Because that is a very real fear for a lot of people. I know, because I have had lots and lots and lots of experience with this fear, with this particular one. There was a time when my marriage was a really, really tough spot. It's, you know, we've been through some very interesting times as a couple, and I remember going through a time when that was one of the biggest fears on my mind, was the fear of you know, just being there one day and all of a sudden getting divorce papers handed to me or something. You know, that was constantly on my mind, and just a major, major fear of mine. And I can remember just the depth and the depth of that pain, and how much that hurt, and how scared I was. And here's the thing. When I went through that, it actually worked against me, because I was so concerned about that. I was so nervous about that. I thought I needed to change who I was in order to avoid that happening. So I thought I would try really, really hard to do a lot of things in order so that didn't happen. And that ended up making things worse, because I was being somebody I wasn't. I was trying to do things the way I thought that my wife would like them, and it turned out to be just fake. It wasn't even, it was just, you can tell. You ever get that? You know, you can, when somebody's trying too hard, but it's not really them. If that makes sense. Ryan, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of that, it actually made things worse. And the very thing I was trying to make better was getting worse because of the things I was doing to try and make it better. And it was super duper frustrating, because it was constantly on my mind, and I'm trying to do all these things to make it better, and it's just making it worse. And it's getting worse because of the things I'm doing to try and make it better. And that was so frustrating. And it all had to do with the fear. That was the reason. So when you have the fear of another person's action that you have absolutely no control over, it'll absolutely drive you crazy. It will drive you nuts. You have no control over another person's actions. You have no control over another person's intentions. You have no control over another person's thoughts. All we can do is be ourselves. And the most important thing that I had to learn was to love my wife, regardless. And I had to sit there and come to grips. This is one of the reasons why I tell people, if you are afraid of something happening, go to that incident. Like, imagine what you will do if that thing you fear happens. What are you going to do? So in this case, what would you do if she left you?
I think it's good to keep that line also positive directed. Like, what would you do to solve it, or what would you do, you know, in a good
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
not like
So,
I would kill myself or something terrible like that, right?
right.
Nothing like yeah,
Cry. Absolutely. Amira
right.
says cry for
Yeah.
sure. And I would do the same exact thing. But okay, so like what Ryan was saying, what am I going to do to move forward in the
There you go.
case of that happening? What am I going to do to make things better if that happened? What am I going to do to move on with my life if that happened? And in our case, we've got 2 children. So what am I going to do to deal with our children? What am I going to do in all those situations as we move forward with our lives if this ends up happening? And I had to come to grips with that in my mind and say, all right, if that happens, then how I will respond, I will do this, this, and this. It's going to be painful and I'm going to cry and it's going to hurt. And I'm probably going to have to rely on my friends a lot and poor them because they're going to be dealing with a sad sack of potatoes for a little while, you know?
Hey, I like potatoes.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes are always sad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Amira says she swore to me that she'd never leave, but she feels so distant. Yep, absolutely. And I can pretty much guarantee that one of the reasons that she feels distant is because of your fear. So what we need to do is address the fear. And this is why I have people go through this exercise where it's like, all right, okay, imagine that worst possible scenario. Now, what would you do to move forward if that happened? What would you do to move on if that happened? What would you do to try and just make things at least livable if that happened? And once you're prepared there, now you no longer have to have the fear. It's like what Ryan was talking about with the whole game thing. If you go and take a few losses, now you've experienced the loss and you're not afraid of it anymore. Here's the same type of thing. If you can go in your mind to that place where it's like, okay, the thing that I am afraid of, it happened. So now what do I do to move on with my life? What do I do to move forward? What do I do to make things happen? Whatever. And you know what I decided in that? I had to get to the point, what would I do if my wife left me? And when I got to that point, and I was like, what would I do if that happened? And the answer I gave was, I'm going to love her, even though she left me. I'm going to love her, even if she, takes a whole bunch of my money and runs. I'm going to love her anyway, and I'm still going to want what's best for her. Because my love doesn't require somebody to be with me. I can love somebody from a distance. I can love somebody at a distance. Sometimes that's the best kind because there are some people that are really hard to be around sometimes.
Yeah.
So I love, I can love those people from a distance forever. But that's what I had to say to myself. It's like, okay, in that event, if she leaves me, I'm going to love her. I'm going to love her anyway. You know what? And even if she never, ever, ever returns that with love from her end, I'm going to love her anyway. I'm going to continue to get better at loving her. And so I started to, at that point, I was like, all right, I know what I'm going to do. I know exactly what's going to happen if that happens. So I am absolutely prepared. If that happens, we're going to go through whatever we got to go through. I'm going to talk to whoever legally I need to talk to figure out, manage all those channels. But the overarching thing is I'm going to love her through it. And the world is going to know that even though this happened, I still love my wife. And when I came to grips with that brought so much peace, and it smoothed things out so much. because then I was free. Then it was free to be like, okay, then I could respond when she was upset with me about something and it seemed kind of interesting. I could kind of laugh about it a little bit, just shake my head and kind of, in that way where it's like, I really love you and I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm so sorry. Whatever I did to make you upset, I am so sorry and I love you. And I wouldn't necessarily always say that out loud, but I would say it in my head. And so one thing to be careful of, if you notice the difference, when I was all uptight and fearful, I was doing exactly what Ryan was talking about earlier in a previous topic, where I was thinking too much about myself. I was thinking too much about me and, oh, it's going to hurt me so much if she leaves me. It's going to hurt me so much if she divorces me and takes the kids. It's going to hurt me so much if she takes all my money and all this stuff. And it's just going to hurt me. And I was so concerned about my own future pain that didn't exist yet and maybe never would exist. But it did exist in my heart because I was thinking about it so much. And when I switched that to thinking, instead of, oh my gosh, that's going to hurt me so much if I lose her, I was like, you know what? If I lose her, I'm going to love her. And then I started to fill my heart with love for her. And that changed everything. Because no longer was I thinking about myself, and no longer was I thinking about how much it was going to hurt me to go through this. I was thinking about how much I love her. And then I was deepening that love on a daily basis and trying to find other ways to show that love that wasn't going to offend. Because when you're in a tough relationship, when there's animosity there, for me to show love to her may be offensive because of that animosity that's built up. So I had to really tactfully start to show that in different ways. And over time, it starts to get better. But in my heart, I'm always at peace because I know I love her. Because I know that I'm going to continue to love her more and more. And I'm going to try to find new ways to do that. So before I get too ushy-gushy, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and he's going to say something really smart. So Ryan, please take over.
Wow, way to build the tower high for me to climb. How am I supposed to sound smart? Oh my gosh. That was really good, Joe. I really liked all of that. And sometimes the best way to solve an issue like that is a lot like just Joe said. It's not necessarily concentrating on the issue. It's at being at peace and working your way through it. It sounds kind of weird because when you have a problem, you want to examine that problem and solve it because you have this fear of it getting worse or the fact that it's not right. But a lot of times your mind is bogged down and can't see the clear picture, can't see the clear answer when you're too worried, when you're too stressed, when you're too overworked. So a lot of times the best thing you can do, especially in relationships, is just figure out how to be at peace and talk to the person calmly and be yourself and enjoy the person. Really, just enjoy. I think that's one of the main things. Just enjoy the person. Enjoy that person. And if maybe they've shut down, maybe they don't talk much anymore. Maybe you can tell that they're distant, they're different, right? Find ways to enjoy that person and enjoy your time with them, even though they're going through that painful moment. Because if they are experiencing something, if they're acting differently, then they're obviously experiencing something, right? That's usually the case. If they continue to act distant and so on, then it's pretty clear that they've been wounded or something like that, right? So you need to kind of switch gears and focus on making sure that they have a good time. Making sure your relationship is on point the best you can, and not sweat the little things. Because here's the thing: you don't get to pick their personality, you don't get to pick their attitude, you don't get to pick their opinions, you don't get to pick how they hold themselves or anything.
Mhm.
And because you can't pick that, to stress over it is in vain. You're wasting thoughts and energy and patience and etc. And so sometimes you just have to let things be as they are and accept them and be like, that's just how it is. That's how it is. And that's okay, because we can move forward from this point. Because that's how it always is. Things are as they are. And they're a point in which you can move forward from. That's all there is to it. Some things, bad things happen all the time. Like, you're driving in your car, all of a sudden someone swerves and hits you, and now you've got a damaged car, or maybe your car completely breaks down, now you've got a car that doesn't work. All right, now there's your problem. Now you've got a starting point to move forward from. And if you spend a whole lot of time freaking out and stressing out, you get nothing done because you're choosing to stress out rather than actually do something. A lot of times being calm in the struggling moment, being patient in the struggling moment, being sincere and kind and helpful in the struggling moment is what guides you to the solution. It's just like Joe said, if you're concentrated on the fears of them leaving you, or concentrated on the fears of them not being as they're supposed to be, that's only going to manifest in the way that you talk to them. It's only going to show up when you talk to them, like when you have actions with them. Because here's the thing, like, you're worried about how they feel in that moment. Like, they're not feeling right. You can notice, see, there's some distance in your relationship. Things aren't right.
Mhm.
So do you think that doesn't come across when you speak out loud that you're worried? It comes across. That worry does come across in your conversations. That worry comes across in the way that you physically hold yourself. That worry comes across. So I know it's hard, but you kind of got to switch your attitude about it and just be like, how can I give peace to this person?
Mhm.
How can I be the peace that this person is searching for? Because let me tell you, that's a thing you can do. You can be the peace that other people are looking for. If you like, I'm dead serious. You come into a situation where you have nothing to do with it, or maybe you do, and you come and you talk to that person who's maybe freaking out, struggling, or they've emotionally shut down, whatever it is, right? You come in and you just hold yourself, intending to give them peace. You give them your calm, you give them your peace, you talk to them calmly, sincerely, but also understanding, like, hey, let's just move forward through this. Like, what do we have to do to get through this, with that in mind. But first and foremost, before you even start working on how to solve the problem, the best thing you can do is give someone peace.
Mhm.
And so how do you do that? Because let me I've seen many times. You've got a person who's having a problem, and they think they want the solution, but they don't. Or they just absolutely don't want the solution. Like, you come in and you're like, hey, just be positive, you can get through this. And then they just shut down, right? I've seen that time and time and time and time again, talking personally with other people. But if I change that, if I approach with just giving them peace of mind first, giving them comfort, giving them a little bit of joy, then they open up and they start to desire to move forward.
Mm.
Because now you've shown them light and now they can chase after that light. Because here, if you're surrounded in complete darkness and then someone says, hey, go follow the light, you're like, what light? And then you're like, oh, be positive and what can you can grow from this experience. It's, like, that's why you're suffering. And they're like, still don't see it. I'm in the dark here. Like, I get what you're saying, but there's nothing for me to follow. Like, I can't just get up and create my own light. Like, what do you want from me? People are often in that place.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come in and you step in and you just be light for them, and not forcing positivity on them, but forcing peace by being peaceful, giving them joy by being joyful, by hinting at some silly little joke, that's a little spark. If you can take a little bit of time and invest in them, something that kindles the relationship, it creates light for them to then chase and desire to move forward from. And you do that by, again, you simply talk to them calmly. You can focus on their issue if you want, but don't focus on yourself. Don't turn it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind, be soft, be gentle. And, some people, the best thing you can do is be buddy. Just be like, hey, man, what's going on? You got, like, I see you're struggling right now, but, like, dude, you're awesome. Like, so, like, what's going on? You're not normally like this. What's the deal, man? And that can be the piece that they need. That buddy, that like, hey, we're in this together. We're a team, man. Like, I don't look down on you. You're awesome. That gives them a sense of, like, hey, I feel like a bond right now. I feel a bond. That bond is giving me that light to start to move forward and past all of this. Or maybe it's not a buddy relationship that person needs. Everybody's personality is different. And you just got to kind of go with what you feel is going to work. If it doesn't work, then try a different method next time. Sometimes it's just being calm and being like, hey, so what's going on? Or, hey, I'm not even going to ask you what's going on. I'm just going to be like, hey, did you see that movie? Whatever. That was a pretty good show, wasn't it? Just kind of small talk. The point is, you build a light, you build your relationship by being at peace, and you drive it towards peace. Because that's a good foundation, a good starting point. Because here's the thing. If there's tension, if you guys are in a relationship and there's tension, then no one's gonna want to just be like, like, oh, what can we do from this experience? Let's move forward. Let's just go. Let's finish this. A lot of times that tension, the best way to resolve it is either one, an explosion, because that's how you get this apart, or relax it. So you can, if someone's holding their hands tight together, right? You can either cause an explosion that rips their hands apart, and that's a breakdown and not good for the relationship, by the way. Or sometimes it can be. Sometimes an explosion has to happen before the pressure can release. Pressure's building up, and then it releases, right? And that can be an explosion, or it can be a pleasant release. You put someone at peace, then their tension, their fingers loosen. It's okay. You can pull them apart with ease. They're the steam in the pot. You let it just kind of air out, just seep out, rather than cause an explosion, right? So there's those are the two main ways you can get through this.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest peace at first. So if you want to make your Yeah. So how you don't know how to be gentle? I think, it's really hard. How do you enter a situation and just be at peace? The main key is to not care so
Mm.
much. I mean, you care about the person, right? But you don't care about the problem. Okay? That's a weird saying. You
Mm-hmm.
care about the person, you don't care about the problem. Remember that. That'll help you get through this
Mm-hmm.
because that's the bottom line. The problem has no value unless you make something of it, but it's only valuable because of the person that's attached to it, right? The problem is not your problem. It's the person. And the and so look,
Now, people aren't problems necessarily.
people are yeah,
Have problems
yeah,
attached to them sometimes.
yeah. The problem is a problem. But anyways, I didn't mean to say that. I was like, that sounded catchy, but that's not really what I meant to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to repeat what I was saying earlier, though. You don't care about the problem. The problem doesn't matter. I don't care what the problem is. I care about you.
Mm.
Okay? I care about you. And so when you say that, it eases the tension of the problem because then it lets you look at the problem clearly and not get emotionally wrapped up in it. And then it's a lot easier to be at peace because then you know you're in the right place. Because you can't be certain that you're in the right place when you're trying to solve a problem. But you can be certain you're in the right place when you're directing your attention to the value of a human being and saying, "Hey, I love you." That's the difference, right?
Mhm.
So how do you be gentle? I don't know. Just try. Maybe you'll fail. That's all
Yeah,
right.
I think gentleness came for me a lot sooner when I was able to take a longer term view of things.
Mm,
Instead of looking at right now, here and now, and what's going on right now immediately, I was able to say, okay, this that's happening right now is it's happening now, but I'm looking towards the future. I'm looking towards, you know what, we've got our whole lives to work through this. We've got time to do this. And what's happening right now is just one little step along that pathway to what's going to happen in the future and where we're going to be in the future. And I think the more long term I was able to look, and this works not only with relationships, it works with finances, it works with a lot of different things. If you can take a long term view on things,
hmm
you can relax, and when you're more relaxed, you that gentleness can seep in, that, like what Ryan was saying, you can care about the person and not what's going on, the problem that's going on. I deal with that in parenting too. I'm sorry, I totally
No,
cut
go,
you off,
go, go for it. Go for it.
but I deal with this in parenting because if I'm in the moment and my kid's acting up and I'm getting upset and frustrated about this thing that's happening, and I can feel my blood pressure starting to go up and I'm getting frustrated about it, I know I'm looking too much at the moment and I'm looking at the thing that's happening, and the problem is making me upset. And I'm losing focus on the fact that I love my kid and I care about my kid more than I care about the issue that's happening. That was so brilliant what Ryan was talking about, because it totally, I mean, I watched this unfold in my life just like last week as this experience happened, where I was getting focused on the problem and I wasn't focused on the fact that I love my child and I want him to, grow up to be a good person. I want him to grow up to be happy and healthy and all of that. But I was focused on this problem and it was causing me to be upset. And it was causing me to, be more and more angry and more tense and all this kind of stuff. And when I was able to look at my son and be like, oh, but I love my son. And I'm more concerned with his development and I'm more concerned with his growth. Then I was able to relax and the gentleness comes back, and you're able to just kind of calm it down a little bit. I've been this saying, the saying that I just found recently, and I've been saying it to myself in the mornings and night times. It's actually by Saint Teresa of Avila, and it's this it's like a 7-line saying or something like that, and it says, "Let nothing disturb you, let nothing frighten you. All things are passing away. God never changes. Patience obtains all things. Whoever has God lacks nothing. God alone suffices." And I know there's a lot of God stuff in there, but that's where I put a lot of my faith, because that's where I feel the most secure, because I know that, hey, the guy who put all this stuff in motion and created everything, he knows what's going on. So he's a good person to trust in. But I really, especially the line in there that gives me the most peace, it's interesting, because the one that gives me the most peace is, all things are passing away. When I think of that, all things are passing away, it's absolutely true. Every single one of us
And our
is
problem.
all of our problems, all of our good times, all of our bad times, all of that stuff is all passing away. And so what it sets me in the mind frame of, okay, this problem isn't going to last forever. It's going to go away. So that's cool. This person that I'm with isn't going to last forever. So I should cherish this time I have with them. All of you here that are here now, I look at you guys and I cherish this time we have together that we're spending, even on this stream, because I know that it's not going to last forever. And so these moments, I try and just draw as much out of the moments as I possibly can, and just get as much joy and feeling and everything that I can possibly get out of it. And then I also try and give as much as I can to all these situations too. Whether it's here on the stream, whether it's when I'm at bss.studio, whether it's when I'm producing something, whether it's when I'm with my family, I try and live those moments as fully as possible, because I know they are all temporary. And some people may look at that and be depressed, it's not going to last forever, but it's just the reality of the thing. And when you look at it like that, and it's finite, then you're like, oh, that means I can get all I possibly can get out of this. I can look at it as a time to just experience something fully, because I know to be present in the moment. That is my life. My life is lived in the present. All things happen in the present. The future hasn't come yet. We can plan for it. The past is something we can learn from, but where we live is the now. And how much of this can I just experience in this moment?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And on that note, I remember you said, I miss the friendship we had when we first met. Yeah. And, relationships, they grow and they move and they change. Um, and it's okay to miss that. But I think try to focus more on, where's your friendship going? Be excited about where the friendship is going, what the friendship has in store for you in the future. It's okay. Again, it's okay to miss the friendship you had when you were, to cherish the memories and to long for them. Like, that's okay. But be excited about where the friendship can go, how the friendship will develop, the amount of times that you'll get, to be with that person, and what you'll do with them when you are. Um, that way, it's not just sad, you know. Um, but all things pass, and that can be a good thing. Just because something doesn't exist anymore doesn't mean that it was bad that it existed. No, it was beautiful that it existed.
Mm-hmm.
And everything has their time and place. And that's awesome. You've also said there was something else you said um, that I was going to. Oh, you said, should I tell her how I feel or keep it in? Um, if you tell her how you feel, I think that's not a bad option. If you tell her how you feel, if she's already said that she's already forgiven you for it, etc. If she denies or seems like um, she says like we're okay. There's nothing different. Like we're not distant or anything like that. She has that sort of attitude. Then I would pin it like this. I would say, hey, it's probably just me. I don't know why I'm going through this, but I feel more distant from you, and I don't like that. Is there anything we can do to maybe move forward? I'm not sure why I feel this way. If you put it on yourself, then she can take responsibility for it.
Mhm.
But if she doesn't take responsibility for it, just work with her, because whatever she comes up with is gonna be productive. If she's like, oh, I don't know. Well, why don't we try doing something like playing a game or whatever? Maybe we need to, try this or that. If she says, well, maybe we just need to spend less time together, that's kind of like an opt out and not a good thing. You just use your brain with but that kind of thing, then yeah, then that there's definitely a problem. And then you've got your answer. Now you know that she feels a certain way, and you can just try to work your way forward through it. But yeah, he said it's like our friendship is going backwards. It started off really strong, but now it seems like it's getting weaker. Yeah, that's understandable, and that happens in a lot of relationships. Just gotta try to not allow yourself to be affected by that, because again, that happens in pretty much every relationship. It grows, it gets weaker, it grows, it gets weaker, it gets stronger, it gets weaker. I mean, every relationship goes back and forth,
Mhm.
because no relationship is stagnant, and you don't want it to be. No relationship is constantly growing either. They all have their trials. They all have their
Right.
times where, oh, we just haven't seen each other in like 50 months, you know.
Right.
um, you
That's
know,
so right. It's the roller coaster.
yeah. So, you just gotta be okay with it, because that's reality. That's just how it is, and that's okay, and that's normal. So don't work yourself up over it. Okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. All you can do is do your best to continue to love that person, to focus on them, to not worry about the problem or the stress or the guilt or the worry that you have for the relationship, because what's more important is the person.
Mhm.
The relationship will grow based on that person. So focus on that person and give them joy. Bring them joy. Find joy within yourself. Find joy within the things that you are doing together. Find joy within different things in reality, like flowers and the
Mm.
sky and the clouds and the air that you breathe, whether it's cold or it's hot, the saunas, the
Mm.
warm climate, the freezing cold snow and its beauty,
Mm.
whatever it is. Find joy in that. And then take that and use it for her. Give her that joy. Share that
Mhm.
joy with her. Share that experience. Like, oh my gosh, I found this flower. It's so cute. It looks like a panda bear. It's called a pansy. It's like, yeah, we all know about that. I'm glad that you like that. That's fun. That's cute. Like, yeah, it is cute. It is. Deal with it. All right, people? Like, that's okay that those flowers are cool. All right? So I'm sharing that joy with you right now. And you feel a part of that. Do that for her.
Mhm.
Do that for
Yep.
her.
That is so key. And to love someone, again, just to make sure, I don't know if we said it already today, but to love someone is to want what's best for them, is to want their greatest good.
Mhm.
And and in that, it becomes a completely selfless thing where you're totally thinking about what their greatest good is, regardless of what happens to you. And that is such a great thing. Um, to empty yourself of all your self-centeredness is the most fulfilling thing you can possibly do. And that seems so opposite, because we want to find fulfillment in all the things we do for ourselves. But the greatest fulfillment comes when we empty ourselves of our own desires, of our own wants, and of our own the stuff that we think we need to have. And we focus it on serving other people and loving them and wanting their greatest good and wanting to do whatever we can to help them get that greatest good. That is when we are the most fulfilled. And I have never reached the point where I've been completely fulfilled, because I've never been completely selfless.
Right.
But in those moments when I'm the most focused on helping another person, that's when I feel the most fulfilled I've ever been. There's so much truth in that. It's so crazy. So I tell you, when Amira says she always tells me how cute, precious, and lovable I am. Though it's really more her. That's really more her. That's absolutely right.
That's
you
awesome.
can return the favor. You can tell her that same stuff, that she's precious. And not like Gollum, like, wow, my precious, like,
power when I wear you. What do you mean? I'll give you a piggyback, Red.
Yeah. But do that. Just like Ryan was saying, just focus on, don't get so caught up in the problem that you forget that there's a person there.
Mm-hmm.
That that you can share your love with, that you can to whatever, that you can love in a way that desires their greatest good.
Yeah. Well, we're giving you our best here, Amir. You have to take all of the actions here. You have to figure out how to step outside your comfort zone and talk to her about it. If you need to talk to her about it, it might just be you. I don't mean to be mean when I say that. But I know many times in my life, I've had relationship issues with people. I feel distant from them, or I feel like there's something off, whatever it is. And then I realize, wait a minute, it's just me because I'm worried. And then once I drop my worry, like everything is perfectly fine in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just you and the other person is actually fine. And there is no distance between you. And it's all just a game that you played in your head. You made it up. I'm saying that about myself because I know I've done that. I'm not saying that's what you are going through, but it might be. So either way, if you can either talk about it with the person or not. But you're the one that has to do all these things, and we just wish you the best, and we hope that you have success in whatever you decide to do. But
and you can do it.
You can
you can get through it. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, wow, guys.
Yeah, we're about at the mark. So.
Yeah, thank you, Amira, for asking. Thank you, everybody, for posting. These were all taken from the bss.studio website. I'm going to post it again here for you guys. If you guys thought of anything you wanted to put in there, feel free to put it. There's the link. And so we have lined up, we've got Haley, you're actually next. So when you're here on Friday, we can do yours first.
Mm-hmm.
Bree. Yeah. Sorry, we're not going to get to yours tonight.
Yep, we've got Haley, we've got Magician Gesture, Senna, Bree, and Akil.
Yep.
So
that's what we have.
But
we'll have a list.
Get to you guys for sure, or likely next time, which is Friday. As long as you're here, we won't do it without you, of course.
Absolutely. We'll save it until you get here. But Bree, sorry, and I think there's already a reply on your topic on the website. So,
oh wow,
so that might be helpful too.
Oh yeah, Joseph Bohan already gave you a response. That's awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Yes, thank you. I mean, you're welcome. Oh wait, you weren't talking to me.
Yes. Both of those. I was both Joes at once.
Both Joes at the same time. That's right. So, yeah.
All right, Bree, I love you. Stay strong.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly. Yep. You can send me a private message if you want. on Discord. But
Absolutely.
yep.
So wow. So thank you. This was a fast moving show. It seems like it went by really fast.
It did go by fast. That was a fast 2 hours. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being here with us and being a reason for our joy, because you bring us joy.
Yeah. And thank you. We didn't thank you guys last time. Last time we hit 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. And so thank you guys for making that happen. That was totally all you guys, because we just put the shows out there, and then but all of you guys come and subscribe and tell people about it and stuff, and or show people our stuff and everything. So thank you guys so much for helping us get there, or for getting us there, because like I said, it really wasn't much to do with us. So
yeah.
I love you, Bree. And yes, we will get to your topic. And special thanks to Jesse for producing. Special thanks to Princess Yellow for cataloging stuff. Special thanks to everyone. You guys are getting more and more at putting stuff on the website, and that's really the best place.
Yeah, that makes it so much easier for us.
It does. It does.
Chat, so we really appreciate it.
Absolutely does. So, wow, you guys are awesome. We love you guys so much. And go to bss.studio, get involved in the community, be a part of the action. We got more and more stuff coming. Static P is going to have some tunes popping. I can feel it in my nuggets. And
chicken?
It's popcorn chicken nuggets.
Nice.
So please just call me Princess, please, Joe.
What did you call her? Princess Yellow?
Did I?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Princess. Special thanks to Princess.
Special thanks.
Oh, no. Princess, please, Joe. She wants me to call her Princess, please, Joe.
Oh, yes. Special thanks to
Princess, please, Joe.
Yeah. Princess, please, Joe is amazing. All the stuff she does. I really like that Princess, please, Joe. Girl.
Yes. No. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye-bye.
You guys are awesome. We'll see you on Friday.
See ya.